Here we are, back back at it again.
Microphone sensitivities.
Yes. Episode 200. I'm trying to think of how to say that in Spanish, but I can't.
You still got the Duolingo. What's the number?
282. So it's probably like
Ochenta
y dos. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not in the hundreds yet. I know, but I'm on I don't know what day I'm on. Anyway. So are you excited about this year's Super Bowl halftime show? I texted you about it. You didn't respond. You don't know about it.
Yeah, well, it was a busy day yesterday, but I only know like one or two songs. So, the kids seem to dig them. So it's cool. It's fine.
He puts on a lot of good shows. He puts like 300% energy into everything he does. I'm super stoked. I think he's going to crush.
I'll watch. The Bills will be there. So, of course, I might even be in person.
Where's the Super Bowl this year?
San Francisco? Is that right?
Wait, so if the Bills make the Super Bowl, you've decided that you're going to go? That's like the thing?
I don't know. Who knows? Crazier things. I guess now that I'm thinking about it, would I rather go to the Super Bowl or would I rather go to the victory parade in downtown Buffalo when it's going to be like 4 degrees?
One of them will be several thousands of dollars cheaper. I would imagine that trip is would you go by yourself? Would you bring someone who would?
I don't know. This is all on the fly thinking, but when you think about every person from Western New York, how many lifetimes have come and gone waiting for the Bills to bring home a Super Bowl? It's a lot of people.
I would imagine if it's you and a guest, $15,000 trip.
Yeah.
Because you got to think about hotels. And it's probably $5,000 ticket. And then $1,600 per beer. Anyway. If it's $20 for a beer at the Norfolk Scope, imagine what it is at a real arena.
I don't know. Yeah,
Anyway.
Hard to say.
We're here with friend of the program.
Second-time guest.
Yep, second-time guest who pitched. Well, you guys were a different name back then.
The last time I was on the show, yeah, we were a different name.
I guess it's a good thing that I don't remember the other name.
It is a good thing.
Well, no, just in the sense of because if I remind myself of it, then I'm going to I may then call it by the previous name.
Okay, so we'll tell us the name of the old name that I can't think of what it is. What was the old name? It was an acronym.
It was, yes, ALN Technology.
Oh,
and we are now.
That's right.
I was going to say that. Okay, that wasn't the first question I was going to ask. The first question I was going to ask is because every time you want to do this in any kind of performance, you never get to talk about your team. So let's just start out right now. Talk about your rock star team because you love them so much. Just get it out of the way. Tell us about, you have the greatest developer in the world. You have Carl Hewitt from Decisions. Just let's get it off. Let's just get it off.
I do. Yeah, I have the best team. I have the best team. So Jake, that was a bad way for my face to freeze. Jake Spraker is our CTO and comes from Apple, and he's phenomenally intelligent and is making just awesome products for us. And Carl Hewitt was the founder and successfully exited CEO of Decisions. And the story of Carl and I and how we met is he saved the company. And I remind him of this, and he reminds me of this often as well. Because he came in at a really critical moment and redesigned from the ground up the entire product portfolio, our first flagship product. And so Carl is he literally saved the company, and we would not be in existence probably today without him. So I'm just super fortunate to have both these guys on my side, on my team.
And the good thing is,
what was that?
What's Carl's title?
The technology architect. He gets whatever title he wants. He could.
Yeah. Well, it's just for saving the company. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So why did you change the name of the company?
The URL was shorter, And so SalesE is much easier to remember, and it is shorter for email addresses and the domain name. And I always got asked what ALN stood for. And the truth is, I have 3 kids and it's their initials. And in a executive business meeting, that was not a great transition. It always took us off topic. And so I would have had to make up something else, I suppose.
So wait, were people looking at that as a negative though? Because I would think that that's oh, okay.
No, it just got, then it derailed the conversations, and then everyone's talking about their kids and commenting on names and stuff like that, which is great. It's a great way to connect with people, and it's a great conversation to have. But I just never
that's weird.
Yeah.
Because when I saw that, I always wanted to say alien technology. So that's why I thought that, like, taking out some letters, like you were some next level alien kind of technology thing. But
I like that. There's actually a great hardware company, that Alienware, and they make phenomenal PCs. Yeah, we could piggyback off of them. I actually love that. We should have talked about this before I changed the name.
Well, but now you're SalesE, and is that remind me, is that .com?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
We also own .ai, so both of those would take you to our website.
Did you get SalesE.com for a normal fee, or did you have to pay something special?
I had to pay a little bit more than normal, but it wasn't exorbitant.
Wow.
It is amazing how much domain names can go for.
It's crazy. Yeah.
So do you believe in aliens?
So funny story. I'm on the fence about them, because I have 3 brothers, and the brother that I'm closest to is a full-on true believer in aliens, and you could not convince him that they don't exist. And so I regularly have conversations about aliens, and I'm being given evidence probably weekly or monthly on how they exist. So I'd have to say I'm on the fence. I'm not totally convinced they're not real, because he's so convinced, and he's super smart. It's interesting. Do you believe aliens exist?
No.
I should have asked that first before I shared all of that.
It's a big world. It's a big universe, I should say.
Sure is.
To think that we're.
I mean, if you believe in aliens, you clearly believe that we're living in a simulation. I would believe.
I just listened to the most interesting podcast of, again, this super intelligent guy talking about all these really smart things. And then halfway through the podcast, he started talking about how it's more likely than not that we are all living in a simulation. I had to really ponder on that for a while. That was a good one.
What does that even mean, by the way? Like, I know I say this all the time, and I asked Tim, like, what does it mean to actually even live in a simulation? Because now my brain just like feels weird. Like, I feel like it was a joke before, and now like people are like actually believe, like, what like we're like inside of a video game. Like we're.
Do you want me to explain it? How he explained it? It was really interesting.
Yeah, sure.
Let's take us on a weird left turn here. So this is not, these opinions are not my views or those of SalesE. I just want to preface with that. So according to this gentleman that I listened to in this podcast, once artificial intelligence reaches the level of what they coined general intelligence, then it becomes its own entity that is not able to be controlled from those who created it. And so assuming that we are living in a simulation means that we assume that general intelligence was achieved. And once it's achieved, then they can go and run simulations for all different kinds of scenarios, they being the general intelligence. They call it singularity. Once singularity has been achieved, then so the likelihood that we're living in this actual moment is less likely than the likelihood that singularity was achieved and we are actually living in one of millions of different, infinite number of different simulations that the artificial intelligence is running to determine all of the different probabilistic outcomes of anything that could happen in reality. So again, not my views. This is how it was described in what I was listening to. So a very interesting theory on the world.
All right, folks.
Yeah, I mean, listen to. You may have listened. If you haven't, I'm surprised. But Jelly Roll, when he was on Rogan a while ago, his point of view, he's like, yeah, we're definitely in a simulation because the thought of me being where I am today, based on where I started in life, there's no way. It was interesting. It's worth a listen.
There's plenty of stories like that.
Don't poo-poo on me, man. I'm just like,
you started this whole thing by thinking it was an alien. Her company was alien based, so
I didn't name the company.
That's fair. That's fair.
I brought this on.
Right, so a couple weeks ago, you pitched at the Startup World Cup, at the Cup, and just general thoughts on that. How do you think it went? You went from kind of the next gen 60 seconds the year before, where I believe we had a microphone malfunction. So this is actually kind of a normal thing for you, I guess, now is having some technology.
Maybe your the simulation, the vibes that you're giving off throws off other technology.
Maybe she hasn't met the that level. That was I can't think of the actual word she just used, but maybe that's the missing piece in this.
I'm in the wrong simulation. Maybe I'm a glitch in the simulation. That's yes. So I just appreciate you guys so much, because last year you gave me the opportunity to give my 60-second pitch at the Startup World Cup and introduce the auditorium and the region to who we are and what we were doing back then. And you gave me the opportunity again this year to come back and do the full 10-minute spiel and dive into the details of really what we've got going on. And it was just such an incredible opportunity. And, it's funny because before I showed up, I thought, I'd been rehearsing the pitch and I'd been going through all the details. And I thought, man, this is really good. Like I could maybe win this thing. And then I showed up and I met all of the other companies and I talked to the other founders that were presenting. And within 30 seconds, I was like, oh no, there's not a chance that I'm winning this thing. Everybody else on that stage was so impressive. The companies are just incredible. What they've built is incredible. And I was just so grateful to be included amongst a really unbelievable lineup. So you guys did a great job finding, the best of the best.
Well, I guess I appreciate that. Thank you. But we did not give you, when you were saying us giving you the opportunity, I firmly believe that you created your own opportunities. So and we've talked about this on the show before, but you created those opportunities. You raised your hand. The very first time we met was on the rooftop at Assembly. And I was like, hey, I'm so glad to meet you, because I wanted to reach out to you to see if you would be interested in doing the 60-second pitch. But then from beyond there, you've raised your hand so many different times in the different programs. You're a regular when it comes to submitting news about what's happening with SalesE and the progress that you're making. And so it's just you're creating those opportunities. So thank yourself for doing that. I wish more people would do the things like that, but yeah, you created your news, you created the buzz, you're doing the things, you're doing the hard work, and everyone just sits back and they wait for opportunities to happen, and it just doesn't work like that.
Well, thanks.
Why do you think you raise your hand? Right, you're not classically trained in this type of stuff, right? You're I can't. What's your military background? I know it's not I wanted to say nuclear engineer, something crazy. I remember reading it recently, but it's not like marketing or public relations is your thing, but yet you're doing things that people in that field would on the regular do. So how'd you realize that, oh, maybe that's what I should do?
Well, I think it comes down to probably that I am genuinely just so excited about what we're building. And every time we, you know, uh, create a new product or solve a different problem, I'm the most excited about it. And so when I see these things and whether it's the Startup World Cup or applying for the Defense Technology Accelerator, we honestly, we have no business being there. Like, I've read that and I thought we could do this. And but we're not a defense technology company, but I think it's coming from a my level of excitement about what we're doing. And I feel like everyone should know about it. Everyone should hear about it. And yeah, because the truth is, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know anything about marketing. I don't know anything about PR. But I just really love talking about what we're building. I love telling people about what we're doing because I think it's important. And I think that this is the other thing that we started with this really specific niche in distribution. And what we found over the last year, we're coming up on 2 years in business now. And over the last 2 years, what we found is that the underlying technology it's not specific to distribution at all or manufacturing. It's actually a really useful framework. And that's why the people at the Defense Technology Accelerator, I'm so grateful that they saw that vision as well. As they said, hey, this is clearly unrelated, but the underlying framework is the same, and it can be used to solve so many different challenges and improve so many different operational systems in different industries that maybe don't seem related on the surface level. But I get excited when I see something or an opportunity where I'm like, oh, this is a really great fit, or this is a problem we can solve. So I think that's where it comes from. Truth is, Zach, I don't know what I'm doing. I just volunteer. I sign up. I register for us, for stuff. So it's
What so when I hear that, I'm going to butcher names because I can't recall, but Tim, remember Isaac Dietrich from
Yep.
Whatever that company, RoboSent?
Yep.
So he had a partner there teammate that got involved with Sean Parker from Napster. And, Napster then did whatever it did. And then he became Justin Timberlake, then added or removed the whatever it was. And then since then has tried creating a series of other companies, and I believe unsuccessfully. I'm going to use that term loosely, right? You would think that guy, so to your point, even the people that know what they're doing doesn't mean that they're going to get to that thing because they've done it a time or two before. And so I think you just got to put raise your hand and see what the hell happens, because you just never know, even if you're the most seasoned person out there. I mean, think about how many venture capitalists, bet on how many companies a year, and only a handful of them ever really, make it. And those guys know what they're doing.
A lot of things have to go right.
A lot of things.
Yeah.
So.
But I mean, one of the things that you're doing, in terms of like bringing on teammates, that's you sold them to join you. So how did those conversations go? What was your thought process about bringing them onto your team?
So I needed a technical lead because I do not develop software. And this is the point. So when I started the company, I had a firm that was developing the program for me. And this is the moment that I met Carl. He was my mentor through the 757 Accelerate program. And I told him, this is the biggest thing, I think, to the success of bringing people on, is just being really honest and open about where we're at, where the company is at, what we're excited about, what we're worried about. And when I say we, I mean me, because at this point it was just me. And I told him, I said, Carl, it doesn't work. I've contract, but the product's not working. I need a CTO, and I need you to help me find that person. Can you help me find that person? And he looked at the situation and kind of said, I don't know if you have time for a CTO, right? Like, you need help right now. And he was right. And I did. And he stepped in. in that moment, and he saw the vision of what the product should be and the problem that it could solve. And so I think I was really lucky in that the company started with a really specific problem to solve. And so for people that understood that problem, the technology was sort of the afterthought of like, this is the solution that we're driving towards, and now we just need to figure out what we need to get there. And so he was able to step in, see the vision really clearly, and know exactly how to get from where everything was, at that moment that we met, to within 8 weeks, he had rebuilt everything from the ground up, and it was just incredible, and it worked great, and it was so exciting. And so from there, it was Carl that introduced me to Jake. And so because Carl really believed in the vision and really understood the problem that we were trying to solve, I think he not only introduced me to Jake, but described what it is and what the potential was, and he was very instrumental in getting him on board and getting Jake on board.
What is that vision?
The vision, okay, so the vision is that we have sort of a two-part infrastructure, and the first being it's a logic-based, a rules-based system. And so when I described the challenge, and this is the really specific problem that we started solving in the beginning, is distributors receive thousands of incoming emails every day, and 80% of them account for maybe 20% of their revenue. So there's thousands and thousands of emails that are really, really small opportunity value, but they need to respond and provide quotes and accept purchase orders because it makes up a substantial part of the overall revenue. But there's teams of people that are required to do this. And so if you could just apply the rules that those inside sales people are using to parse these emails, you could codify them in software, and you could answer, and this is what our system does. So we automatically answer any incoming quote requests and provide pricing within 2 to 3 seconds for any quote requests that meet the rules. They fall within the defined boundaries of how the customers operate. And so, and then there's a little bit of artificial intelligence there required to read the emails, just because every email is unstructured data, and every request looks a little bit different, and they use a little bit different language. And so, but that basic infrastructure of using logic-based rules to parse unstructured incoming data, and then applying artificial intelligence just to determine very specific things. It's not doing a lot, actually. It's really targeted. That is sort of the building blocks that can be used in all of these different scenarios, whether it's defense, whether it's manufacturing. There's a lot of different applications that can be solved using that same framework.
And does it automatically reply, or is there still a human in the loop to view it before it actually goes back to the requester?
Yeah, so that's the beautiful thing about the system, because it performs at such a high level of quality and transparency that the companies can be sure that the emails that are automatically being sent are correct. So they are providing the correct data. And so the ones that fall within the boundaries, they're automatically responded to. So the customer sends a request, and within 3 seconds, they get an email. No human approves it. It lives in the sent email folder. So this all happens in Outlook, and it lives in Outlook. And so anyone can go and review at any time, all the emails that were sent, what was provided. And it's also logged automatically in their ERP system. So they're tracking which quotes convert to revenue, and they can go back and see the history. So it connects all the disparate systems. We also have a UI, but the customers don't need to use the UI. They can continue just to operate in the systems that they already use, which is like a beautiful level of simplicity as well. They don't have to change their processes.
How long does it take to onboard a new customer client to set up all those rules and get everything set up from a rule-based standpoint?
It's usually 3 to 4 months, 12 to 16 weeks, depending on the ERP system that they use.
Okay, so like to the layman listening to this, I put in a prompt to Grok because, that's state of the art, wonderful piece of technology there. And it comes back, and 80% of the time it's okay. 80% of the time it's great. 20% of the time it's, not so great. The layman, they hear what you just pitched, and they go, well, it's not that accurate. So
right.
Where's the discrepancy? Where, is it just that we're not using something like that? It's completely not that. How, when someone talks about something like a Grok, a ChatGPT, a Claude, or whatever, what is your response to
yeah, it's you bring up such an important point, because what you're saying is absolutely correct. So if you're integrating with OpenAI, or if you're just using the compute power of the large language model, it is designed to give you, they call it deterministic versus non-deterministic. So a deterministic answer means it's going to be the same every time. And AI, a large language model, Grok in your instance, is inherently non-deterministic, meaning that it's going to give you a varied output with the same input. So you put in A, and it will give you output B, C, D, E, depending on whatever different way it computed your request. And so if our technology was just relying on a large language model to respond to emails, it would be wildly inaccurate. There would be no quality assurance. It would be a terrible product. You're right. And so that's why the logic-based rules is the starting point. And in our distributor engagements, 85 to 95% of everything in the email is actually parsed using logic. It's not, and when I say parsed, I mean interpreted. So the email is not being read exclusively by AI, by Grok, or by a large language model. It's being read and interpreted by the logic. And so particularly in this example of a quote, the only thing we use the large language model to identify is the quantity that they're requesting, because there's so many numbers and letters within part number, designations, and all these different things within the email. The only thing that we cannot interpret using just pure hard-coded logic is the quantity. So in different instances, you're looking at different things with AI, but we use it in such a limited fashion only where it's absolutely necessary. And that's what gives us that extremely high level of quality and predictability. That's what it really comes down to. You need to know that every quote that's being sent has the right price, it's going to the right person, it's saying the right thing.
And so is the special sauce the logic that you guys created in this?
The special sauce is really just that we're the only ones doing it. It's a little bit of a heavy lift. We've got really fast development cycles. We understand where the AI is needed, and we understand the industry. And this is why I think we're early. Our moat here is just that we're early, which we, I'm probably, if you're an entrepreneur out there and you're looking for a great idea, this is a great idea. It's not that there's patented technology. It's just that I have a deep understanding of the problem and of the industry. And so that's why transitioning from manufacturing and distribution into defense, where I also have a deep understanding of the problems that we're looking to solve there. It's not that the technology, and you know what, honestly, I think we're going to see more and more of this as artificial intelligence continues to advance and writing code. You can iterate on code so much faster than you ever have been able to in recent history. Even 6 months ago to today, the things that we can produce, we can produce them in such a short amount of time. And so I think when people talk about their moats and they talk about, what distinguishes them, I think having a deep understanding of the problem that you're solving, because the technology is being commoditized at an unbelievably rapid, where things that used to be really difficult are no longer very difficult from a technology perspective.
Well, and I
don't know
think
if that
that
answered your question.
Well, I think that the big unlock, at least from what I'm hearing, is just the ability to use unstructured and structured data to come up with a accurate response. That seems to be the cusp of where everything is going. So if you're able to do that now, I think that is pretty leading edge. What industry or what vertical do you specialize in today in terms of who your ideal market is, your ideal customer?
Wholesale distribution.
And is there across what industry, or does it not matter?
It doesn't matter. We found that they all have very similar challenges. So regardless of if they're distributing paper or if they're distributing semiconductors, we started in the semiconductor distribution space, but lumber distributors, building materials, food, they all struggle with this challenge of they have a handful of really important clients that drive the majority of their revenue that they want their sales team to handle. And then they have thousands of small individual customers that still drive a substantial portion of revenue, but that they just don't have the bandwidth to support them all in the way that they need to support them. And so we found that it really is, the struggle is the same across any type of distribution.
And how does that work in terms of like when price changes, for example? So like the hurricane comes through, people are looking for 4x8 pieces of plywood to put over their windows. Well, how does that work when the price changes? Does the user then just go into the rule set and change the rule set?
Well, the rules don't determine the price. So we have two different products. So we have Reply AI, which is what the quoting engine, and that is taking the price directly out of the ERP. So whatever price is in their ERP system, which is where all of these, they have thousands and thousands of SKUs, different SKUs, different individual line items. That's where all of the pricing for all those materials live. And so our system connects directly with their ERP system to take that pricing out real time. And so if the price changed 12 hours ago, our quote is going to reflect the updated price. The other product that we have is the dynamic pricing engine, which if a company wants to do automated updates to their ERP-based price book based on real-time conditions, like you said, the hurricane comes through, maybe there's a new tariff, maybe worldwide inventory of one type of item is really low and they have a unique inventory position and they want to raise that price. All of those things, we can take dynamic factors and using a rule-based system, again, where that system has very little artificial intelligence as well, and is a rules-based logic system because you need to know how those prices were calculated. But that's a separate product that would do that pricing update automatically on the back end. But two separate things. But yeah, it's always providing the quotes. The quotes are only providing the most updated pricing.
Got it. And they can just update their ERP with the price and then.
Yep,
they're done.
Exactly.
Okay, a lot to talk about after that. Number one, did you know that a 2x8 is no longer a 2x8? They've actually shrunk them. So what is 8 times 12? 96? Is that right? Something like that? Is that right?
Yeah.
They're now 92 inches. Have you heard this?
No.
Yeah, so a lot of construction people are pissed off about it. It's just randomly changed. Shrunk. Pretty wild. So there was a fairly large, I don't know about large, but like Xtuple was a big ERP company locally. Have you had any conversations with Ned Lilly and what they've done over the years? Obviously, they were acquired a few years ago, but just in that world and knowing how ERPs work, since they're a lot of your target customers, we integrate with the ERPs that our customers use. And so, but that's a really interesting suggestion because this would be a natural product that an ERP vendor or supplier could offer to their customers as an additional, upgraded feature set. So I don't know Ned Lilly, but I would love an introduction if you're offering one, Zach. Oh boy, here we go.
Ned's a great guy. He's super supportive of the community.
I'm surprised Ned and Carl, that connection wasn't made, because I feel like they know each other, or they would know of each other, I would think. Maybe I'm wrong, just a bunch of two old school guys rocking software.
They probably, I feel like Carl knows everybody. I don't know. They probably too know each other.
Fun fact, Carl Hewitt was a judge at the first Start Norfolk, Tim. Did you know that?
I did not.
The only time I've ever met him and talked to him. 1 time. That weekend in November of 2011.
Where do you see this technology going? I mean, it's so early, but you're in it early. What have you discovered? Where is this going? What's your take?
Oh man, it's so interesting because artificial intelligence as a technology is advancing so rapidly. It's impossible to keep up with every new model and new iteration and new feature set between all of the AI companies that are core AI companies. But what I think is really interesting is that there is a significant lag between the rapid pace of development of the core technology of artificial intelligence and large language models and the enterprise adoption of this technology. So I think there's so many companies that they see what's happening. They know that they need to figure out a way to incorporate it in order to increase efficiency and to stay competitive, but they're not really sure where to start. A lot of companies don't have their data that's accessible in a way that would support integrating AI at an enterprise level. And so even though we can all objectively say artificial intelligence is rapid, the pace of adoption from an individual user level is staggering. Everyone is using it in so many different ways, but that's not what's happening at an enterprise level. And so where do I think things are going? I think we have years of getting corporations AI ready, getting their data connected and integrated, getting information out of legacy PDFs or legacy systems that are not accessible or readable by AI. I mean, I think there's so much work to be done for these huge companies that are so important to just how we live. When you think about distribution and manufacturing companies, these companies make everything, and then they get the things that the manufacturers make everything we use, and then it goes to distribution, and distribution gets it to us, so we as consumers can consume it. I mean, it literally it enables the flow of everyday life for the entire world. So these companies are so important, and they're not going anywhere. They're not going away. And there's a lot that needs to happen in terms of getting them through this, it's a tough period to, you talk about digital transformation from the 90s into the 2000s and people getting software services integrated. We're going through this whole new cycle, but the systems are more complex and they touch all different parts of the company. And so for us personally, as a company, I think there's so much room for us to grow. There's such a need for what we're doing, and we are early, and we recognize that. And so a lot of the work that we do is helping companies lay the groundwork. A lot of them aren't their infrastructure is not set up to be able to see the gains that they could get by implementing a system like ours, because there's work that needs to be done before that happens. And it not just ours, any other company that's offering AI-based services, it requires the same base level of infrastructure. So it's a really exciting time to be doing what we're doing. And I know that we're in a space that really needs what we're doing and the services that we're providing. And so I'm just so excited for what's to come. And the idea now, we're I think 4 or 5 weeks in now to the defense area. So we're learning a lot more about juices with the government and bringing the same technology that we've brought to these other legacy industries into defense, which you could argue would be the definition or the epitome of a legacy industry. So there's a lot that we're going to be able to do to help there as well.
Well, it just seems like, and if I understand this right, it just seems like the supply and demand curve now can move like instantaneously based on the information that you're able to receive from the collector and then output back to the requester. So, I mean, like there's just a lot of things that can change in terms of price elasticity, in terms of like, I don't know. So it's just from that standpoint, it's unlocking a lot. Is that accurate?
Yes, yes, and we're seeing the real time responses in terms of revenue gains that our customers are seeing are really substantial. So in the presentation, one of the slides was talking about our 50 times ROI. That's not an exaggeration. Those numbers are real, and it's all tied. They can track it in their ERP. So for $2,000 a month, which is the subscription fee, you're seeing $100,000 every month in additional revenue that's captured by the automated quotes that are being provided on average. I mean, that alone, there's so many other things we could talk about in terms of, like you talked about, price elasticity and the ability to change pricing to real-time market conditions. There's a lot of value, but just at the very basic level of being able to capture revenue at that rate with no additional, you're not
Right.
paying, you're not paying people to sit at computers for hours and do this. And it's really impactful. Yeah.
Yeah. And then and then I'm like just playing this through my head, thinking about once public companies start adopting this and how that changes earnings and then how that can ultimately change stock price. I mean, like the second and third order effects are pretty significant.
They really are. And I think that's why executives are getting a lot of pressure from their boards to not only speak to on the earnings call, but to have real tangible results, fiscal improvements attributed directly to AI, because what you said is spot on. It is going to directly, and already has directly affected the stock price, because it's affecting earnings, because if you can get it right, it's really powerful. But so MIT released a study in July of this year, and they looked at the $40 billion that's been invested at the enterprise level across all industries in AI projects. And they found that only 5% of the $40 billion invested has yielded tangible ROI for the companies that have done it, which means that the majority of this investigation and experimentation is not yielding tangible, quantifiable results, which I think is really interesting. It breaks it down into a couple different categories. There's a lot. It's a really good study, but I think it reflects what we're seeing too, is that companies are trying, they're experimenting, they're trying to figure it out, but the infrastructure many times is not there to scale these pilots into a condition where they can provide quantifiable ROI for the company.
Yeah. And then I'm thinking, like, just like a textile standpoint, if stores have direct insight on terms of when they're ordering from the manufacturer, and the manufacturer then can see there's a slowdown based on the number of requests, then they can slow down the amount of textiles that they need to import to manufacture that problem. And so now then that avoids things going to clearance that ultimately may go to landfills or whatever the case might be. So I mean, it really changes the whole supply chain.
It changes the whole calculation. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
really, it's fascinating.
When do you think this world will be? And maybe I'm using the wrong words, but like from the data that you just talked about, 5%, something like that. Like, when do you think it'll be more mature so that number will actually be? I don't know what the number needs to be, but like more mature so that it's just the norm.
Yeah, I think the first thing that needs to happen is there needs to be people and companies with proven. So I think we're in a little bit of a bubble, maybe the wrong word, but there are so many, just like ours. Our company is 2 years old, just like every other AI company in existence, because more than 2 years ago, you couldn't utilize AI to improve, operational and embedded systems, because it wasn't available in that way. And so we're going to see like a filtering of the companies that stay in business because what they're doing is providing tangible ROI, and the companies that do not. And I think that's going to be a natural attrition, just because there's so many right now. And this is what I think companies are struggling with too, because they have to make the decision of, do we pursue these endeavors internally with our teams and try and make our own, specific AI type of system with the teams that we already have, or do we hire a third party? If we hire a third party, how do we know who's good and who's not? Because no one has a track record. And so as time goes on, I think that that's naturally going to become apparent of which companies are able to provide quantifiable, tangible ROI for customers and who's not. And the other thing that's going to happen is that the more people, just individual people, that learn how to create enterprise level AI workflows, those people are going to go from company to company. And so we're going to see more successful internal deployments because people have more experience. I mean, just like you guys know, just like starting a company, right? Statistically, if you're a second or third time founder, you're more likely to succeed because you failed more times. And I think these AI implementations are probably really similar in that the initial implementations, that's what the MIT study is showing, is that the majority, 95%, are failing. But when they try again, they're going to have a higher likelihood of success because they learned a lot the first time they did it, or maybe the second time they did it. So it is just a matter of time. But right now, the biggest factor to the high level I'm not going to say the high level of failures, because it's classified as experimentation in most companies. And so it's hard to fail at an experiment because the whole point is just to try, see what you can learn, right? And but what we're going to see is right now there's a shortage of talent. There's a shortage of people that have successfully been able to create these systems. There's a shortage of people that really understand how they work and what they do. But the longer that the technology exists, there's going to be more and more people that have fluency in it. They have specialty in it, or specialization in getting these systems up and running. And so I think it's going to be a curve based on, just how long it's been in the market. And this is it just hasn't been around that long, 2 years is not a lot of time for a technology of this level of complexity.
What's I'm curious, what is the revenue model? Do you charge based on number of queries, number of emails that get sent out? Is it just a monthly subscription rate?
It's a monthly subscription rate. Right now it's tiered based on number of users, there's a couple different ways, and the more, each customer is a little bit different. So there's the monthly subscription fee, but then there's the upfront integration fee. And the bulk of the upfront integration fee is based on what type of ERP the companies use, because there's huge differences in complexity between, Microsoft Dynamics versus NetSuite versus SAP. And so that's what drives that upfront integration.
Yeah.
But that's the pricing model.
Well, then I'm just looking at it, there's a potential revenue stream from the other side that, like, now you can almost have them subscribe to hey, I want a watch list for this particular inventory. I'm willing to buy at this price. Between this price and the other price, send me an alert when that price comes down, and then just like a stock, it's like, and then pull the trigger on purchasing that inventory once that price is met.
Tim, that's such a great idea. Yeah, an automatic trigger, just like you do when the stock price hits this, then I want you to buy this many shares. The customers, for the distributors, could offer that as a service where their customers could set that, and then there would be an automatic buy. That's a really, really interesting idea.
Well, I am, you're welcome. I'll just I'll send you my address afterwards. Just a little kicker.
Checks already in the mail. Yeah.
But no, I'm super
thankful.
Doesn't
co-host get a piece of that too? Come on, let's go.
No, this has been a great conversation, because I truly feel like I truly get it now. And like before, I was like playing catch up. And yeah, so I see the vision, I see where this is going, and super cool stuff. I dig.
Well, thank you. I'm so glad you can see the vision.
Growing up, were you a fan of that hit movie E.T.? Is that what inspired all of this?
It was all started with aliens, Zach, 100%. That I would not
Rolling
be here
around.
without my alien influence.
Riding your bicycle through the neighborhood with ET in the basket up front.
I love it. Yeah. ET's the best.
Okay, so you've gone through several programs from the region. Obviously, some of the stuff that Tim and I have hosted, I don't know if we would call those programs, but like things that the region provides. I've gone through some stuff through 757 Collab and their stuff. Like, what do you think about just like the atmosphere of this region and how they're helping early stage businesses and startups like yours?
Oh my goodness. I could talk all day about this. I wish you would have started with this question because I moved here right when I started this company. So part of the impetus for starting the company is I spent the last decade plus in Southern California. And so moving here coincided with the start of the company. And this community has not only embraced me, it's connected me to the community. I've met so many incredible people. There's an unbelievable amount of resources and different groups of people doing different things that are all specifically targeted to help entrepreneurs succeed, not only in the Hampton Roads area. There's a ton just right here in Hampton Roads, but the state of Virginia, VIPC. I mean, we have been so unbelievably fortunate to and you know what's interesting is every time I get connected with a new group, they tell me about another group that's doing something else and another organization that is also helping in a different area. And so, if you are an entrepreneur starting a company and you have not been plugged in, I started with Startup Studios, and from there, I just all sort of exploded. So if there's a place to start, and I know you guys have, I honestly don't know what the qualifications or requirements to get into your reactor incubator. But I know you guys have one as well. Like, I would recommend if you have a company and you're looking for resources and you're looking for guidance, or even just other people going through the same thing, struggling with the same things that you are, get connected with one of these organizations, because from there, like, you all know each other, Zach and Tim, like, you guys know everybody, you know what everyone else is doing. And so by connecting with people like you help introduce me to the other organizations. I mean, I've never been in a place that has genuinely cared so much about seeing small businesses succeed. It's really a stark contrast from the California startup culture, where there's a lot of resources, but it's not the same level of genuine investment in seeing people be successful. And so I'm so glad that everything aligned with my life, that I started the company here, because I think it has been just such a game changer in so many ways. So yeah, it's such a great place to be. It's a great place to start a business.
Eat your heart out, SoCal. Yeah.
That's right. But it is the entrepreneurial way, is to help one another win and succeed. Yeah. And I tell everybody that this area is the largest small town that you'll ever be part of. So getting easy meetings is easy. Getting intros is super easy. But again, you have to lean forward, be vulnerable, ask for help, and then people will help you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so true.
It's lunchtime.
Yeah. What is, I don't know if we were doing this when we first had you on the show the first time.
Yes, we were.
What did you say the food of the region was the first time?
Pungo pizza. I won't forget, because you guys were like, Pungo pizza? What are you talking about?
Is that still you're going to be your response this time as well?
I mean, we still do. We do Pungo pizza every Friday night. It is just the best. We love it.
Don't you guys ride your bikes there or something?
I wish we could. No, Indian River is not a place I would want to ride a bicycle. Yeah, Indian River Road is
especially way back there too, if I recall. Like, because I know when I worked in TV, I had to drive back there a couple of times. Like, that thing can get gnarly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you know where we love now is we just recently discovered it. I wish we had found it. Is Blue Pete's. I think Blue Pete's. It's like on the water.
Yeah.
They have live music. It's awesome. We love it.
That's Carl Clancy's family's business, Tim.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
I mean,
I
that's
don't, I
it's a
don't,
conversation for another day, but it's interesting how you find out about these places and then how these restaurant, I mean, it's a hard business being in the restaurant industry, and how do you keep the vibe alive to keep people coming back? Because it's just, man, it's just, and it's so weird how things shift from place to place.
Yeah.
well, and is
Yeah.
there a trend in like why someone came one night instead of another
Right.
night? So then you
Right.
overbuy, like and then you have to throw it away because okay, the last 3 Fridays it went well, and then for some reason it was super nice out this Friday, but it wasn't as good, so you had to throw it.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And even then, like you get the whole college thing, and it's like every class will pick like a different hangout place because,
Mm.
every year it seems to swing in terms of where folks
Like the Max.
hang out. Yeah.
That
Because the
was Saved by the
juniors
Bell
aren't going to go
reference.
where the seniors are. So they're going to
Yes.
find their own place. I don't know. It's interesting. It's a tough business.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be in the restaurant business.
I mean, if there was only a way for them to find out to have like some dynamic pricing arrangement so that they could find out, how to maximize inventory, the cost of inventory.
That's so true. That would be such an interesting experiment. How to use machine learning to predict consumer eating behavior.
Right.
Ooh, there's a challenge. I like that.
Or
I
just
don't
the
feel I don't feel
cost
like
of
you're gonna
goods
be able to do
sold.
that.
I'm talking about more along the cost of goods sold.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I'm sure. I would assume there's already some price optimization mechanisms. That's what we found too, though. They're expensive systems, but good idea, Tim. I'm gonna just call you up for ideas. I'm gonna have you on speed dial.
I'm full of
Give
them.
me-
I'm full of them. No,
Give me-
His phone number is, write it down, 911.
that's right.
Got it. I'll remember that.
Well, we appreciate your time. This has been an absolute blast. Good to have you on the show for the second time. And
Thank you so much for having me.
thanks for being here in the good old VA. I don't know if that's correct. Maybe
2
it's
up, 2 down.
that way,
Whoop, whoop.
but continued success. Maybe we'll see you at the Defense Accelerator Shindig
Oh yeah.
finale.
November 5th, right?
Demo day. Come on out. See what we're building. Yeah, we're gonna have some cool demos. Yeah, it is November 5th. Invite your friends. It's gonna be great.
Tell the world. All right. Appreciate it. See you guys then. Great job. Peace.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.